Welcome to Sonic Legacies, hosted by DHI Art and the FACE Foundation. I'm Gautam Pemmaraju. In the ancient Sanskrit play Mrichagatika, which is over 2,000 years old and is known in English as the Little Clay Card, written by Shudraka, there's a description of a romantic rendezvous between the principal characters, the impoverished Brahmin Charudatta and his lady love, the courtesan Vasantasena. Braving a rainstorm, Vasantasena arrives at her beloved's house, and as he leads her in, we find a description of the sound of the rains beyond the, quote, normal theater of thunder, unquote, as one writer put it.
तालीषु तारं विटपेषु मन्द्रं शिलासु रूक्षं सलिलेषु चन्दं संगीतवीणा इव तद्यमानास् तालानुसारेण पतन्ति धारा.
A high-pitched plink upon the tala leaves, a murmuring patter upon the branches, a harsh clatter upon the rocks, and a violent crash upon water. The rain falls, keeping the beat like venas in a concert. This remains a wonderful literary description, but it also underscores the dense ecology of sounds that one can apprehend when listening to rain. From the light windswept tympanic percussion on the window pane, the lone droplets on the balcony ledge, the corpulent plops upon the leaves of plants, and the dense tumescent swoosh of white noise. In one short audition, we are offered so much sonic information and experience. It is this fecundity of sonic information and experience that I have been very interested in for a long time. Interestingly also, we find rain sounds of babbling brooks and waterfalls, amongst other things, used in white noise machines as a sleep aid in the belief that white noise can induce sleep. We have all encountered situations wherein the onomatopoeic whoop whoop of a ceiling fan on a hot summer's night seems to cunningly lull us to sleep. And there are those who find the complete silence of the countryside very disconcerting, having become accustomed to traffic and other urban sounds. Beyond literary allusions, the sound of rain is also a source of information for scientists. The study of the sound of rain underwater, of oceanic rain sounds, and of different kinds of sounds produced by rain striking the surface of oceans and propagating below contributes critically to the study of global rainfall patterns and thereby of weather and climate. Onomatopoeia is also a fascinating sonic and linguistic feature wherein a word mimics the sound itself. From the meow meow of a cat, the bow wow or woof woof of a dog, and the iconic tropes dishum and dishkyao of Indian cinema and popular culture, where the sound of a punch and of a ricocheting gunshot have taken on profound cultural identities, so much more than the word and the sound that is mimicked. It is these broader and deeper cultural, sociological, historic, and artistic meanings that offer us great insight. We are able to thereby to further untangle the complex matrix surrounding us. We are able to mindfully swim about in the deeper waters of our sonic realms. The very fundamental rhythm of human life itself, the beating of hearts, is also cross-linguistically mimicked across the world, from bum bum in German, lub dub in Tamil and Telugu, dhak dhak in Hindi, doki doki in Japanese, to tum tum in Arabic. The way chests throb and pulses race find varying phonetic forms across the globe. The role phonetic elements play in mimetic gestures is a very interesting one, and the links between sound and sense is an essential aspect of language and speech. In the gesture-based tongue-tied theory of Sir Richard Paget, the tongue is yoked with the body by subtle bonds of mimetic kinship, and so the beckoning gesture, where the hand is extended and a finger is bent towards the palm, is mimicked by the tongue. And if this gesture be blown or voiced, we get a resultant whispered or phonated word like eda or edra, according to the degree of contact between tongue and upper lip or palate. Suggestive of the Icelandic hada, the Hindustani idhar, and the Slavonic ider, all of which bear much the same meaning of our English word hither. If the same tongue gesture be finished more rigorously, the resultant word will end in a K or G, owing to the back portion of the tongue making a closure against the soft palate. Thus, by unconsciously using the tongue, lips, jaw, etc., in the place of head, hands, etc., a pantomimic gesture would almost automatically produce human speech. Beyond the sounds we humans produce outwardly and those that remain within our minds, the spaces we inhabit and the sounds around us, from natural sounds to machine sounds, are also areas of great interest. During the lockdown, Much has been written about the relative absence of traffic sounds and a resultant greater appreciation of the sounds of nature and of bird calls and birdsong. Birds not only produce sound through the syrinx, their vocal organ, but also their bills, wings, tails, feet, feathers, and the use of tools for a variety of purposes, from mating to territorial claims and more. Research has shown that, similar to human speech development, some species of birds first memorize a song and form an auditory memory in their brains, which is then refined through motor activity by practicing and comparing their vocalization. The sounds of spaces around us have long held profound meaning. From prehistoric caves to mountain ranges and their valleys, ancient theatrical arenas, temples, ziggurats, basilicas, and whispering galleries, they have all shaped the human voice through their physical properties, and we have come to understand them through their sonic properties. Anechoic chambers are specialized rooms that have zero resonance, and within these spaces, our voices appear to be not our own, since our speech is always wrapped with the reverberant aura of a space, be it our bedrooms or our boardrooms. Indeed, on a grander cosmic scale, the conceptual idea of the primordial Omkara in Vedic traditions is linked to the very creation of the universe. It is regarded as a cosmic vibration of pure energy, and the materialized sound of the infinite is derived from its unstruck, inaudible form, termed as Anahata. It is also Pranava, that which pervades all creation and taking the sonic form of a roar or reverberation. From sound effects in cinema, sound and music production, the sound of locomotives and trains, the sounds of infrastructure, and the tantalizing possibility of designing our urban spaces with sonic principles in mind, to sound studies in the humanities and sound art in the institutional art realm, I have for long been looking at numerous themes and pathways leading into the boundless realm of sound. My first serious conceptual engagement began with my participation as a lab rat for an audiology research project in Syracuse University in the early 90s. For a couple of weeks, I spent an hour each day with earphones listening to a continuous stream of 3 short bursts of white noise, within one of which was embedded a faint pulse. This experience both mystified me and transported me into a strange liminal space. Having trained in sound and music production, I subsequently worked professionally as well in production sound for film and television. For 15 years now, I've been looking at sonic cultures and acoustic phenomena and have published numerous essays and articles. This talk series, titled Sonic Legacies, is about connecting with the realm of sound through the work of others and exploring sonic histories and cultures. It is about what we inherit, what we sense and feel, and what we learn through a deeper engagement with sound. It features 5 very interesting practitioners and researchers whose wonderful work and initiatives provides us with intriguing and informative ways to understand history, science, nature, and culture. I am thankful to DHI Artspace and the FACE Foundation, and to Bhargavi Gundala and Somadatta Malik for inviting me to curate this. While it is drawn from my continuing engagement with sound, it is also inspired by the seminal book, Ocean of Sound, published in the early 90s and written by the British musician, writer, and artist David Toop. When I first read the book in the late 90s, courtesy of my curator and editor friend Fumiya Sawa, through whom I have come to know David, I was immediately struck by its generous and expansive artistic scope, and was provoked not only by its numerous ideas, but also by its discursive form and thoughtful, engaging writing. I therefore thought it most appropriate for David to share some thoughts ahead of the series, and I'm most delighted that he very kindly agreed. I welcome all of you to Sonic Legacies. I hope you enjoy the series.
You know, we live within these ecologies of sound, and if we open up ourselves up to them, then of course they all overlap with each other. So if I hear a car going past in the road, which I am now doing, I'm conscious that there's somebody in that car who lives a certain life and works a certain job and so on. And that's very much part of my experience of hearing those sounds. But then if I hear birdsong outside, that's another ecology, and they're all linking. I'm conscious of all of them all of the time. So there is a very complex network there of these overlapping ecologies. And the only way to understand that is by listening, with openness, rather than being trapped within one system of listening and saying, this is my specialism, this is my world. Well, it's a very interesting idea, I think, that sounds are somehow embedded in different forms, different media. And if I look at paintings, certain paintings, then they began to come alive in that way. And I understand them in a very different manner. Of course, I used to look at paintings as a very silent medium, which is how they're generally understood and how they're also generally presented. If you go to a gallery, then it tends to be silent, and silence is imposed in the same way that it is imposed or used to be imposed in a library. So there is that general understanding of painting. But once you start to think about it in this way, then everything changes and you begin to be able to listen to paintings. And you might say, yes, that there are traces of sound embedded within the painting itself. Or the image, we could be talking about photographs here or any other kind of image making. We could be talking about drawings or graphic design or so on. It doesn't matter. And so, by this idea, which is extremely subjective, I think we can come to a different relationship with different art forms or, and think that everything is potentially making sounds. And then that becomes the basis of a music, that materiality, and the possibility that everything exudes sounds in some way or has sounds within it, becomes a very different it's a very different way of thinking about life.